Hi everyone, it's Tina here. Today I'm going to show you yet another way to use your Condensed Uppercase Alpha Dies from Kat Scrappiness. I decided I would want to make a shaker card. So I'm going to use the Condensed Uppercase Alpha Dies, and I'm going to use Kat Scrappiness Rose Sparkle Sequins. I think this would be perfect. There's small pieces and flats, so it should fit within the alpha dies perfectly. I wanted to use this Kaiser Craft because I think it will go very pretty. We're just going to have the word die cut love, and so the sentiment will be sending you lots of love. So we're going to get started. So the first step to create this card, we're going to have to create the card base. Cardstock heavyweight trimmed down to 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 4.25. And then we're going to fold it in half and use the bone folder to secure that. I'm going to turn it over. And we have our card base. So I've placed the word love down on pattern paper, and I want to pass it through with the painter's tape on it because I want to make sure that the word is going to cut exactly where I positioned it. So I'm gently peeling back the dies. And you want to be careful so that you don't rip the pattern paper. You're not going to need any of the actual die cuts. You're going to use this panel, and I am going to be using just the center of the O later on. So before I do this shaker card, I did want to die cut the double stitch rectangle dies from Kat Scrappiness. I want to die cut it before I actually do this shaker card part because I won't be able to do it afterwards. So I'm going to die cut it, and then we'll get started on the actual shaker card. Okay, so I did adhere foam tape to the back of the panel, and I did put it in between each letter because I want to make sure that each one is going to have enough of the sequins. I went ahead and I placed the center part of the O on it, and I actually cut out a butterfly, which is going to be part of the back side, and I'll show you how I did that. So I'm going to turn it over, and before I start adding my sequins, I want to remove the stickiness that's on the side of the foam tape. So I'm using an anti-static powder tool, and I'm just going to pass it on the inside edges. So what this will end up doing is allowing the sequins not to get stuck in the corners. It's going to still get stuck, unfortunately, but it's going to limit the amount that's going to get stuck. So I'm being very generous with the powder. Okay, so now it's time to add the sequins inside. And again, I'm using the Rose Sparkle from Kat Scrappiness. Look at that. And I'm going to start filling each section. This is actually my second take because my first take, I realized that at some point somebody had called me and my video mode went to camera mode, and so I realized that what I ended up shooting was pictures instead of the video. So in doing this a second time, I realized that my sequins I didn't have as much as I should have. So that's a good thing. Okay, so I'm ready. And what I'm going to do now is remove the tape, and I'm going to do that off camera. So I have removed the release sheet from only the inner section because I'm going to cover it to make it easier to adhere without switching it over and losing sequins. So I'm actually cutting from the same paper from Kaisercraft, the Wildflower, I actually trimmed down to fit the panel of the butterflies. And so I'm going to seal my shaker card. And so now I'm going to remove the rest of it, and when I flip it over, I won't be worried about any accidents happening. I also put double-sided tape on the panel, and I already removed the release sheet. Okay, so now we're ready to adhere it to the card base, so I can turn it over. And there you go, a shaker card. Okay, I'm gonna stand up for this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sentiment. Okay, so I placed my stamp on the Tim Holtz Tonic Stamp platform, and I've actually used washi tape for the magnets because they do have a tendency of getting stuck, and they're very fragile when they bang together. So any washi tape will do. It just helps to remove them when they do get stuck. So because I'm going to emboss, I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to go over the area where I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use Versamark, ink up the stamp, close the lid, press down firmly. I'm going to remove the cardstock from the paper. Pour black embossing powder. And wherever I have excess, I'm going to use a fine brush and remove any excess. And I'm going to go heat set it with a heat tool. So I added double-sided tape to the back side. I've removed the release sheet, and now it's time to place the sentiment down on the card. And I'm placing it over the V and the E. And there you go. An alpha shaker card. So all product except for the pattern paper can be found at Kat Scrappiness. I'll have a link to all the products used on my blog as well as below in the YouTube. Have 10% off your order at Kat Scrappiness. At checkout, use coupon code TINA10. Thank you for stopping by and have a wonderful day. See you again soon. Bye.